Hello friends, this is Samrudhi from Samrudhi's PubAd. So we have launched a course for public administration optional for the OCS mains exam. The course is going to start from the 1st of April. Today we will be discussing a few questions from the 2022 paper 1. To know more about the course, please join our Telegram channel. The link of the same will be provided in the description box, and here is the QR code as well. So let's begin with today's session. Also, before starting the session today, I would like to say something pertaining to the analysis that we're going to do. That there is no right or wrong answer. Also, there is no single right answer. It only depends on how you substantiate your answer. And I'm here. My job will be to help you have that perception, have that substantiation to your answers. So let's begin now. The first question that we have here is, what role does private administration play in developing and influencing contemporary economic and social policies? So before you answer any kind of question, it is important that you understand the crux of the question. What is the examiner trying to understand? What is he trying to ask from you? What does he need from you? Okay, so here the question is about the role of private administration. In what sense? In the economic and social policies. Okay, so to what extent does the private administration have an influence over the economic policies of the public administration? Okay, so we've all known the basic differences between the private administration and the public administration. Okay, how are they different? What are the similarities between them? And also how they complement each other. So here the question is of complementing each other. Okay, so I think we've established the crux of the question. Now, to begin with, the introduction could be anything. I personally, sometimes I like to use quotes from the thinkers that are there in public administration or anywhere. So that will substantiate your point as to what you're going to deal with in the further part of your answer. So here, Mary Parker Follett has given a very nice excerpt to her, her views, which is the business and industrial administration has been remarkably creative to adjust itself to the changing conditions of our times. Okay, and public administration cannot ignore the same except at its own peril. So what does she mean by that? She says that the public administration is in a part, is in an environment where it is always been, subject to a lot of things. And private administration has been, it has been able to adjust itself. It has been able to adapt itself, to conducing to that part of the environment. So public administration cannot ignore that fact. Okay, if it does, it'll be its own peril. Okay, so this will establish the kind of role that private administration plays. Okay, and the kind of influence that it has. Okay, so now comes the body part. Okay, the significant role of private administration with respect to economic and social policies. Okay, so first of all, we have the concept of business lobbying. Okay, so what exactly does the private part, in what ways does it play the role? So, सबसे पहले it has this lobbying part. Okay, what do you understand by lobbying? I'm hoping that you've come across this term. So it is a way for businesses, okay, corporations, slash interest groups. To communicate with the government. Okay, so you can see this particular lobbying will have a significant impact on the economic policies. Okay, because they will be communicating their needs, okay, their interests with the government. Okay, but why is it also useful and also influential to the government? Because the government, in return, will get an insight into public opinion. Okay, what are the examples of this? The ASOCHAM, which is the Associated Chamber of Commerce in India, and FICCI, Federation of Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Okay, so these two in particular influence the economic policies. Okay. Then secondly, we have the research and development. So how does the private sector influence the economic policies? Via research, via the private research and development and research and analysis. Okay. How does it do that? There are different think tanks. Sorry for this. Research institutions, consulting firms. Okay, so what do? They conduct R&D on various economic institutional, social issues. Okay, इसका example would be the association. This is a think tank. Association for democratic reforms. This is very much in news these days. I would like for you guys to, go through the news and tell me in the comments maybe with what it is associated. Okay, so this particular ADR, it works for advocacy of policies. Okay, in democratic terms. All right. Okay. The third way to influence would be the PPP, public-private partnership. What is the significance of PPP? You get the best of both worlds. Okay. Now, since there is public and private both, with the help of private, you can also attract other private, capital. Okay, there are many examples of PPP, that we see, especially in road constructions or the toll constructions. Okay. Niti Aayog. Okay, for the Railway Ministry has given a self-sustainable PPP based model. So how does it influence then? Okay, since there is the private involved, the implementation, okay, that is done in the private, how it is done in the private sector, that thing would be mirrored here. Okay, for that certain policies would be made. Okay, hence is the influence. Fourth is the corporate social responsibility, the CSR. Okay, the companies that are there, the companies that are a part of our society, okay, they have this kind of uh, responsibility, okay, that they have to give back to the society, because if they want to thrive in a particular society, the society should be conducive to that matter. Okay, so this particular has a major influence on the social policies, like health, education, environment, etc. Okay, इसका example would be the Tata's CSR. Okay, got issues like adult literacy, child dream project, school on wheels. So these are some of their initiatives. So because of this, these issues got a forefront. Okay. And this would be in turn an influence on the policies. Okay. Thirdly, we know that the private sector is more closer to the market. Okay. So anything that happens first in the market is being observed by the private sector first. Okay. And then that particular issue will get derived into the public issue. So the private sector is a crucial driver of the economic growth. Okay. The impact incidence is here first, and then it is felt by the not in it. See, these are not two mutually exclusive events, but firstly, okay, so to have that kind of this kind of environment, what does the government has to do? It has to design policies okay to foster a conducive environment for the business to thrive. Okay, जैसे कि tax incentives, infrastructure development. Okay, so now you understand what kind of role does the private sector play in the in influencing the contemporary economic and social policies. Okay, so then you could conclude by saying that a rich amalgamation okay ek to we've established that it does play a role. Okay, but what do we have to conclude? We have to say that a rich amalgamation between the private sector interests and the public policy will shape the regulatory framework and will aid in the socio-economic development of the country. Okay, I'm hoping you understood the question. Okay, let's do the next question now. Here the question is, in what innovative ways can public administration adapt to the evolving needs of society in the 21st century? So what is the crux of this question now? This particular thing. Okay, evolving needs of the society. So सबसे पहले, whenever you're trying to answer the question, you read the question time, like how many ever times you want, you read it, then you try to understand what is the demand of the question. Here it is talking about the needs of the society. Now you tell me one thing, okay? Today that we are having one particular, suppose e-governance, for example. Okay, but 20 years back in the day, did anyone care about e-governance? Or even before that, maybe. Okay, because now we care about it so much because that is the need today. At that time, something else would have been the need. Okay, so what is something that you see is today's need? So for that, you don't even need any public administration knowledge. You just look around yourself. Okay, so सबसे पहले, before we begin answering the question, see, I like to address that there is, see, for any problem to have a solution, you first need to acknowledge that there is a problem. So when you say that there are evolving needs, okay, when you say that this particular thing is there, so you have to give reasons for that, ki why is there a need? Because in the 21st century, due to rapid technological advancements, changing demographics and globalization, okay, so this is the reason that the society is changing. Okay, and the public administration has to cater to these needs. Okay, so yeah, so before you have any kind of public administration knowledge, you just look around yourself and you see what is the need, what is the first thing that we need today? Technology, right? So digital transformation. So today's people, today's citizens that they are there, okay, they need something called as governance on demand. So gone are the days when people used to uh, wait in lines, wait in queues. They used to not demand anything. So now people are demanding. Pehle they used to only be receivers, but now they are demanding as well. Okay, so governance on demand slash service on demand. Okay, what does this show? This show that people today want to be digitally empowered. Okay, so this is a need. And how can it be achieved? There are many ways. One of which is the National Informatics Center, NIC. Under which ministry? METI. Okay. So this particular NIC is working in terms of digital empowerment of the citizens in effective digital service delivery. Okay. Next, what else do the citizens demand? What else is their need? Collaborative governance. Okay. So like I said, You might have heard of this concept, steering and roving role of the government. Okay. Now citizens today are tired of being at the passive end. They want to be involved in the governance process. Okay. They want to have a multiple stakeholder approach. Okay. So this is their need. So what is the solution to this? Interest groups. Okay. Social media. Awareness campaigns. Okay, so this is how the people want to be. They want to have a citizen-centric approach. Okay, they don't want to have a passive role now. Okay, so passive role is a big no. They want to have an active role in the governance, in the decision making. Okay, and the third one, what else do they need? They need quick service delivery. Okay, because now time waits for none. Okay, they have understood, people have understood that the time is money. There are a lot of important things. Now, if we sit and just wait for things to happen around, so that is not acceptable. Back in the day it was, but today people have understood. They know better. So they want quick service delivery. Okay, and so this is their need. This particular thing is the need. What can be done? You can have a evidence-based policy making. What do you mean by that? Okay, what do you mean by evidence-based policy making? Is where you have empirical data with you. ऐसे जो बोलते हैं ना कि हवे में बात करना, हवे में बातें नहीं चाहिए. Okay, no हवे में बातें. Okay, we've heard of this. As PubAd students, I hope you know this, the dichotomy between policy making and implementation. Okay. Who was the proponent of this? Let me know in the comments. But as a stark example, the NHAI, the National Highway Authority of India, this particular authority takes part in the implementation. Okay. And the ministry, the Road and Transport Ministry, does the policy making. Okay, so kind of there is a dichotomy between the two. Not watershed, but there is some. And this has generated good results. Okay, because it has given quick delivery. This could be one of the innovative solutions. Ki introduce a little bit of dichotomy. Okay, what else do the people today need? They need greater accountability and transparency. This is non-negotiable. Okay, so what are the ways to uh, have this kind of accountability and transparency? एक तो you have that code of conduct. Okay, then you have the reward mechanism. If somebody is doing good enough, you acknowledge that particular thing, like the carrot and stick policy. Okay, but not in bad terms, in good terms. Okay, जैसे now we see the electoral bonds case. So what does this show? This show the need, the non-negotiable need that people have developed with respect to accountability and transparency. So what was done basically? Petitions. So this could be also the way. Okay. Then now people are more concerned about the human rights. Okay. So they are willingly, you know, पहले थोड़ा इतना भी नहीं था, but now it is more because people are aware. The boundaries are decreasing. You know what is happening around you in different countries. You come to know. Okay, if something good is happening, you know. If something bad is happening, you know. So you know where to draw the line. Okay, you know what best practices are. So nowadays that also has increased. So for human rights based approach. So this is a need and this is a way to achieve it. Okay, what is a rights based approach? You have to remember panel for it. How can that be achieved? Via panel. Panel is participation, accountability, non-discrimination, and equality, empowerment, and legality. Okay, what else? In human rights adherence, people now have become very uh, gender. They have developed the gender sensitivity. Okay, that is there. Animal rights also. With human, people are concerned of the animal rights as well. So again, these can be used for anything. Nowadays, people are concerned of the climate change also. Okay, so the horizons of uh, the needs. Okay, as you move forward in time, your needs will only increase. Okay, so now there is this climate oriented administration also needed. Okay, you can check my group. I have shared a document over there with respect to green public administration. It shows how to have a climate oriented administration. Okay, So you have to refer my Telegram group. It's there on Telegram. Okay. So how do you conclude? You say by सबसे पहले by acknowledging the needs and by embracing these innovative approaches, public administration can better adapt to the evolving needs of the society in the 21st century. Okay. To foster again. Because see, you have to conclude in a very positive way. Okay, a little looking forward kind of way. So you have to have these kind of words with you. Okay, these jargons are very important. Foster trust and confidence in government institutions. Ultimately, improve the well-being of citizens. That is the end goal. ठीक है? Okay. The next question. So, how does an organization's distribution of authority and responsibility impact its efficiency and effectiveness? So, what is the crux of the question? Distribution of authority and responsibility and its impact on the efficiency and effectiveness. So, ये तो we know कि yes, it does play a role. But what kind of role? How much? And where is it? Like where? How much when you distribute? What kind of results you get? Okay, so who gives us this knowledge? Thinkers. Okay, they have time and again told us. Okay, तो सबसे पहले we have Taylor. Okay, Taylor had said in terms of authority and responsibility, he had said that a good worker is the one who does not initiate but follows every order of the management. Now, see, before you directly jump to the body part, I think a little bit of explanation would also help. Okay, what do you understand by authority? and by responsibility. Okay. There's another concept of power as well here. Okay. Authority is legitimate power. Responsibility is, okay, authority is uh, the power to direct someone legally in a particular boundary. Okay. But responsibility lies on the other side. Okay. So a little bit of explanation in your own terms, that would also help. So Taylor had said this. So what does Taylor mean by that? He had his entire responsibility was centralized in the upper management, the authority. Sorry. Okay. So the authority was centralized in the upper management, and the responsibility was totally delegated to the workers. Okay. What else? Which else? Fayol was also of the same, because classical thinker, scientific management. Okay, he also had the same view. Now, यहाँ पे the best explanation is given by MP Follett in terms of authority and responsibility. Okay, just give me a second. Okay. There is Weber also who talked about authority and responsibility. Okay, he talked about domination, he talked about power, all of that. But the best explanation till now is been given by MP Follett. Okay, what does she say? She says that authority belongs to the job and stays with the job. Okay, what does that mean? It is the job that gives you the authority, it's not the person. Okay, if I am at a particular job and I have that authority, and tomorrow I'm not a part of that job anymore, my authority is gone, because that authority has stayed with the job. If somebody else comes in that place, you guys will have to listen to them. Okay, so this is called the functional authority. Okay, then in terms of responsibility, she said responsibility is the attribute of the function and situation in the organization. Okay, so according to MP Follett, again, it is not to whom one is responsible. No. Okay, this is not the case. Big no. It is for what one is responsible. Okay, so again, this is the concept of functional responsibility. Okay. So what does this mean basically? She encouraged lower level executives' participation in policy making. Okay. Because this would ensure the efficiency according to her. According to Taylor, this would ensure the efficiency. So you see what kind of uh, thinking, I mean, see, these thinkers are the product of their time. Okay, you can't today we cannot be judgmental and saying that this particular thing was wrong or this was right. They have been the product of their times. During their time, this particular thing worked. During our time, something else is going to work. So we can take just the good part of it and try to implement today. Okay, so this is with respect to the thinkers. Okay, so when you write about, you can also add Weber also here. Okay, Weber also has talked about authority. Okay, तो ये तो हो गया with respect to thinkers. But again, we have to also answer it in terms of general terms also. Okay, so how does organizations distribution of authority and responsibility impact its efficiency and effectiveness? Okay, I'll add a page over here. Okay, how will it impact? सबसे पहले for efficiency. If there is a better distribution of power of authority and responsibility. Okay, so this particular part according to me is a spectrum. Okay, like a continuum. So at one side you have the authority, on the other side you have the responsibility. ठीक है, इन दोनों में जितना कम गैप होगा उतना will be your efficient and effective as well. जितना ज्यादा गैप होगा, if authority is over here and responsibility is over here, तो गैप बढ़ रहा है. Okay, by gap I mean कि people who have the authority should also be responsible. People who are responsible should also have a little bit of authority. Okay, so this should be done. So any organization which has this kind of mechanism going on, that organization will be efficient and effective. Okay, how? Because it will have, in terms of efficiency and effectiveness, एक तो there'll be streamlined decision making. Okay, because of the decentralized approach. What else? Okay, since there are lower level executives also involved, तो क्या होगा? There'll be reduced bottlenecks. Okay, and with the clear definition of the distribution, Okay, better and clear both. Okay, उसके वजह से the resource allocation will also improve because people exactly know where a particular thing is lying, okay, with respect to the authority and responsibility. So chaos कम हो जाएगा. Chaos will be reduced. ठीक है. एंड इसका रिजल्ट क्या होगा? एक तो एम्पावरमेंट आएगा लोगों में. एम्पावरमेंट एंड मोटिवेशन विल इंक्रीज. ठीक है. Adaptability will increase. People will be motivated to initiate. Initiations will increase. Innovations will increase. Okay. In times of crisis, the crisis management will also increase. Since everyone is involved, since there are clear definitions, since there are clear demarcations with respect to uh, authority, responsibility. Okay. All this will increase. Okay. So you know that it is very crucial. Okay. The distribution, and we saw in terms of thinkers as well. किसने क्या बोला था? Taylor had a little bit of centralized approach. Okay, in his particular thing, in his model, the gap was more. Can you see that? There's a huge gap between authority and responsibility. Okay, the lower level was not given any authority. Here you can see the gap has reduced. Okay, it is working in synergy. So this is important. Okay, so what should be the conclusion? It should be a balanced approach. Balance of authority and responsibility. Okay, you can conclude by saying something around these lines. Okay. So we've discussed 3 questions. I think I took a lot of time. I will discuss the remaining questions in the next session that I take. Okay, I hope you find this useful, and I hope you join the course and our channel. We are putting a lot of content over there. It will help in your preparation. It will help in answer writing. Okay, so thank you.